Everything in the booth is wacky. Isn't that what you heard? Tonight we get to start our summer series. Each year we try to put together something that is going to be meaningful and constructive for the congregation, and I believe this year may be the best. We have a great topic, and we have an incredible list of speakers. I think they're going to be very strong, and it's actually headed towards a point of us as a congregation specifically achieving some things that we will get to as the summer goes on. But we needed someone tonight that knows what we're talking about. Okay, that usually is helpful. And it just so happens that our speaker tonight is teaching an adult class at the Oakdale Church on the subject of followership. And therefore, you're the expert. Wow. As of right now. Okay. Looking at the list of speakers, this happens to be my favorite. Okay. For those of you who watched through the years, I know that you two are very pleased to have my son Jeffrey here.
I'm just going to assume that this is on. Are we good? We are good. Okay, wonderful. A couple of things to start with. Number one, it's really good to be back here. Number two, this is one of the only places on the planet that calls me Jeffrey. Never change that. I love it. Okay. Professionally, most people call me Jeff at that point. Ziana still calls me Jeffrey. And I've told her, don't ever stop doing that. So you guys don't ever stop doing that either. I love that. Like he said, I got tasked a few months ago by one of our elders to speak on the idea of followership. And so this Sunday will be week number 9 in our 12-week series that we're doing at Oakdale. So we've read and read and read and read, and there's one other gentleman, some of you guys may know, Brandon Haney. He's co-teaching with me, and so we've been doing this for quite a bit at this point. So I want this to be very participatory, and so I will force this if I have to. I don't know if anybody understands how much I love awkward silence, and I will sit up here in complete silence for the next 50 minutes if I need to elicit an answer. We will start with this question. What is followership? I have lots of definitions up here. We're going to go through all those. I would like to hear from you. When you hear this word followership, what is followership? There are no wrong answers. There might be some wrong answers. Let's be real clear about that. Okay. The same as discipleship. How? I'm going to press you on these questions. We're going to get to it. Okay. Good. Good. Great answer. The discipline of following. I like that. We're gonna hit that one directly on the head here in a little bit. Did you come up here and read? Like, I've got that sentence. This would, okay, yeah, great minds, great mind, and I copy from you. So, what is followership? Ooh, that's a real good one. That's important. She said following means that I am willing to be led. So there's a conscious idea of giving up personal self or plans for whatever it needs to happen or to follow something. How many people have never heard this word before? As like followership? Yeah, like Sunday when it pre-Sunday. When it was said to me, I thought it was just like, I don't want to sound hateful here, a church word. Like it's not a real word, it's just a church word. That's what I thought. The first time that it was used ever was in 1867 in literature. So there you go. We didn't make it up. I didn't make it up. So, followership, for how we're going to define it for today and for the other 8 weeks, for this 9-week summer series that is going to go on out here, how we're going to define followership is a little bit different than how we would define discipleship. And I'm glad that you brought that up, because I want to differentiate between the two. Because normally when we hear that, that's what we think of. Followership, discipleship, same kind of idea, same thing, different word, same meaning. But I want to pull those apart. So discipleship is the condition or situation of being a disciple, a follower, a student of some philosophy, especially a follower of Christ. Okay? By the way, if I say something that you go, I don't agree with that, or I really agree with that, or on that topic, here's something, just like raise your hand or just start talking. Like please, you're not going to offend me, like we'll stop. This is supposed to be discussion where everybody kind of pulls together, and it's actually kind of important that we all kind of put our opinion in here, and you'll kind of understand that as we go. So the more talking you do, the better for the idea of this class. Okay. Followership, different than discipleship, is the willingness to cooperate in working toward the accomplishment of a defined goal while demonstrating a high degree of interactive teamwork. So, followership and discipleship they might share characteristics. Actually, I think I have this. There we go. They might share characteristics, but the big thing that they have that's different is the amount of teamwork. I want to define followership as us. Discipleship is you. Followership is us. Okay? So, there's tons of analogies, and I grew up playing sports. That's never stopped. And so like the idea of like teamwork, like different pieces do different things. Everybody's involved. The biblical piece here is many parts, one body. It's that kind of idea, us together. We are going to accomplish this goal. We have this task. Us as followers have a leader. Okay? So, what we're going to do for this introductory lesson is we are going to do the 5 W's of journalism, which are louder. Who, what, when, where. Why. The why is really important, so we can't leave that one out. This was too big a bottle of water. So, with that, we will start with the who. Who is involved in followership? I have 3 answers here. So who is involved with followership? Us. That's 1. God. There's 2. So your answer is kind of both of the 2 pieces, because the two two of the pieces. God is the one, us is one, and you, individual, singular, is one. Because the necessity of followership isn't just that you're with the group. It is your specific decision and willingness to be a part of the group and to follow the leader and to be a part of the group and fill in the piece that you need to fill in. This thing, my ears aren't made for it, I don't think. The importance of you in this role in the church cannot ever be understated. What I have here is I'm going to put together a list of all the people who have a more important role in this church than you. Oh no. There it is. That's the list. So that's the list of everyone who has a more important role in this congregation than you. And you say there's no one on that list, and I say, yes, I know, that's part of the joke. Now we all get it. You, in your individual role, have to commit to be a part of the whole. So that's our who. So now we're going to go all the way back. That's our who. So next is our what. And we talked about this just a little bit. We did some definitions. I want to give you a few more definitions. You guys can have all of my notes on this whenever we're done if you guys want this, or I can repeat. If you are taking notes, I will repeat whatever you want. So what we defined it at first was the willingness to cooperate in working towards the accomplishment of a defined goal while demonstrating a high degree of interactive work. A few other definitions that I found. I could have spent the entire 50 minutes with definitions that I found on followership. It would be a really boring class and you guys would all fall asleep probably 12 or 13 minutes in, but they're out there. The ability or willingness to follow a leader. The process of following or being guided by a leader. The Civil Air Patrol's professional development website defines followership as reaching a specific goal while exercising respect for authority, a positive attitude, integrity, and self-discipline. It is the ability to take direction well, to get in line behind a program, and to be a part of a team and to deliver on what is expected of you. So we're going to go around individually and I want to ask you what's expected of you in this congregation. We're not really going to do that. But imagine like how you would answer, because that's kind of the point of this. How would you answer if I came to you and said, what is your expected role in this congregation? Now, what is your expected role right now? And then what should your expected role be? Are you doing those things? Are you participating in the group? Are you the person in the group project that's just kind of letting everybody else do the work? Does anybody know what can define osmosis? That's funny. I had someone say that at church a few weeks ago. Osmosis is a scientific term, and I don't know all of the things with it. Did you just say what it was? Huh? Through a permeable membrane. So it's I think that it has to do with salinity between two bodies of water where there's a permeable membrane and it balances between the two, okay? What it basically says is that you can transfer between something to have everything equal. Your role in this congregation, along with holiness, righteousness, biblical knowledge, work, everything, cannot be given to you through osmosis. You being here is not good enough. What was that? Oh, somebody was reading it? Read it out loud. Does somebody have it? Was it Siri? It's okay. I'm like, this is not, yeah. I, I looked this up for last time. I forgot to look it up today. Actually, I put it in a lesson weeks after this lesson, but it fits too well. And I don't know what anybody else is talking about, so I'm going to go ahead and cover that. You can't fulfill your role in the followership of this congregation if you're not actively working, if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Okay. So we do the win. I've got two different wins. Number one is for the next 9 weeks. This will be the study for the summer. The different speakers will be coming in and talking to you about this, and hopefully building upon each week towards the idea that followership permeates through every aspect of life. A few weeks ago, we talked about followership with the government. And where do we fall in line when we're told from authorities to do one thing or another? We're not going to do that here because it was rough. But know that followership is not just here in this building. It is this group moving forward towards a goal. The second win is after 9 weeks. And the question is then what will you do with that? Once you guys become subject experts, followership, what do you do next? We do where? Everywhere, always with your family. With your family. Okay. And then the last one, and I know it seems like we jumped, like that we're way ahead, but the why on this is actually like the big piece. And we'll spend the rest of the time talking about the why. Why talk about followership? Why study it for 9 full weeks of our summer? Why put this into practice in our lives? What I couldn't find in Scripture is any verses that talked about like following. Like what we're supposed to do is follow a leader of any kind. I couldn't find anything in the Bible that has to do with that. So if you guys know of anything, then just like shout it out. I spent so much time and I just couldn't nail anything down. I hope everybody is paying attention to the scrolling behind me. They're all verses about followership. I cut this down by about 30 different verses. I cut 30 verses off of this because it's a long, drawn-out process to get to that punchline of the idea of following is something that is beginning to end. God gathered Adam and Eve in the garden and said, "Hey, you two, don't eat of that tree." It did not go so well. But that was the first time that there were two, as a followership, as a group, that were given instructions with a specific leader. We're not gonna read through all of those. Really, it's if you just Google follow in the Bible, it's a ridiculous list. Followership is a discipline that must be learned. Hey, basketball coach, you're going to get put on the spot. Is basketball a natural thing or a not natural thing? Well, and even if you're really good at it at first, how many nuances are there to basketball? Lots. And the longer that you do it, you get more accustomed to it. The better you get at it, the easier it becomes. I've played basketball with a number of people that it just looks so easy for them. And I'm not that person. I can make basketball look really hard. I'm the guy that you watch that you go, I think I can do that. I can do that. With everything in our lives, something new, something different is going to take practice. I took about 6 weeks off of lifting weights, and I started back yesterday. And I can barely walk today. Getting out of bed this morning was a chore. Tomorrow will be infinitely worse. If I don't stop in that progression, the pain stops. I don't continually become more and more sore throughout my weightlifting process. I get accustomed to it, and I just get stronger. When considering the idea of followership, especially as a brand new thing, something that... Anybody read a book on leadership? Have you ever heard of a book on leadership? Yes. Have you guys read the books on followership? Have you heard of a book on followership? This is not something that... It's not a non-Church of Christ thing. It is a everywhere, everybody, whole world, secular world, spiritual world, everything. We do not talk about followership. We're going to study examples that are provided to us. If you guys want to know what governmental authority and followership look like, read the book of Daniel. I'll leave that with you. I don't know if I'm infringing on other people's talks, but I'll just drop that bomb. I spent a lot of time in Daniel over the last 3 or 4 weeks, and my eyes were opened with a new idea of followership. God provides a guidebook that helps us with command and examples. Godly followership and leadership are inseparable. You can't be a good leader unless you're also a good follower. And the main reason for that is because you're not the ultimate leader. We can be real specific with that. No one in this room is the real leader. I hope nobody is offended by that, and if you are, we need to have a much deeper discussion later about this. God as our leader, we are the follower. There are situations in which we are the leader here. We do different things. And you guys don't have to call people and tell them that this was a mistake. I was appointed a deacon a couple of months ago, and I was put over our small group ministries. And I get at least 3 texts a day right now having to do with small groups, and I'm that person now. And I have a leadership role in that. I have to make some decisions. I have to come up with ideas and the whole thing. Sometimes you're the leader, but you're always going to be the follower. Your leadership will be better the better follower that you are. Followership is also a series of choices. You don't get to just wake up and go, well, I'm going to be a follower from now on, and we're done. You have to make that choice one time. And Jesus says, come and follow me. And then what you have to do after that is make that decision every single day. I will follow you. No matter where that is, and no matter where I'm supposed to go, or what I'm supposed to do, or what my role is supposed to be, nothing's too big or nothing's too small. I will follow you. Always. Followership can be painful and even costly. In Luke 14, Jesus encourages us to consider the cost of following him. Followership requires strength and courage. There may be considerable growing pains as you wrestle with this idea of followership. And that's not for the younger people. That is for anyone at any age. Nobody really wants the idea, like, I can do my own thing. I'm on my own. Followership destroys the idea of it's between me and God. Because it was never between just me and God. We're a family. Always. You've decided to come here. Let other people, let your family carry your burdens with you. One of the things that we don't have a problem with at Oakdale is people stepping up and saying, hey, I'll help. I'll definitely help. Whatever you need. You know, if it's a spiritual matter, we've got people. If it's a physical thing, we've got people. If you need to move, we've got people. Whatever it is, we've got people. I assume the same thing is 100% true here. What we don't have is we don't have a ton of people that are saying, I have a problem. Which, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say none of us are free from problems. So if none of us are free from problems and all of us are keeping those problems to ourselves, nobody can help each other. We can't grow together. We're not really a followership. We're a bunch of silos. We're a bunch of individuals that meet on a Sunday morning and we all look towards the front. I wouldn't call that following as a group towards a leader. I'd say that's attending. Followership requires patience. This will be hard. Every Sunday after I finish teaching, Ziana's my sounding board. She sits in the class, and so I say to her, hey, what'd you think? How do you think that went? Did I answer these questions correctly? Did I look real dumb up there? Those kind of questions. And every Sunday she has said, this is just like a hard topic. Like, this is just a difficult thing to like wrap your mind around. And yes, it is. We've been teaching for 9 weeks. So I'm at 14 or 15 weeks of studying this, and I think I almost have it figured out, what it is and how to apply it. I'm not there yet, but I'm getting there. It's going to take a while. Be patient. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with other people. But understand, like, this is it. Followership is us. Not you, singular. It's you, plural. How good are we at being a plural you? I know there's a lot of people that aren't here tonight because the heavens opened up. I got to experience a piece of that on the drive out here. Tell them about this. Don't tell them about me. I'm not important in this. Tell them about followership. Tell them how important it is that as a family, that the Clinton Church of Christ, the Custer Avenue Church of Christ, is a family, is a followership with one leader, and together we are going to move towards a goal. I know just enough of you to know that there is not a single thing that could not be accomplished if everybody's on the same page. I know some of your resumes up to this point, and I know the incredible things you have done in this lifetime, and the number of people that you have affected. And I want you to know that if we're all on the same page, that only gets bigger. It only carries more weight. You can only bring more people together. There is a magnetism in followership that when we're all on the same page moving forward, people will join you. People will want to be a part of this. We have one leader, and we're going to follow him. For the next 8 weeks, there are going to be speakers come out here and talk about the different aspects and how followership falls in your everyday life, the very practical stuff. There's some very important biblical stories that are great examples, but know that this applies in every aspect of life. This was from a few weeks ago, and what I wanted to say is, if it applies to every aspect of life, if our followership to Jesus is in every aspect of our life, then every decision you make is a spiritual decision. Top to bottom, start to finish, every decision you make is a spiritual decision. Now, some of them could be big, gigantic things. Some of them are very tiny things. Some may not seem important at the time. Some may seem very important. But we are heavenly citizens first, and everything else passes through that. We are one family together, working together to follow God. Does anyone have any questions? That is all the material that I have. Yes, ma'am.
Something you said a few minutes ago that actually was scary to me.
Okay.
You said that saying it's between me and God doesn't work.
Right.
And I've never used that phrase on me.
Mm-hmm.
I've used it when speaking of others.
Uh-huh.
Because if they do something, they make decisions that I feel like aren't the right decisions.
Right.
And if I try to talk to them and it gets nowhere, then the only thing I say to myself, well, that's between you and God, and I pray for you.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm not supposed to do that, at what point should I still be willing to basically get into their business?
I'm going to say this with all the love in my heart, and I really do mean this. Always be in their business. Always. There's never a not be in their business.
I don't think that's possible.
I know. So that's the hard part of this, right? Because it's so easy to let people be on their own and make all their own bad decisions and do their own terrible things, because that doesn't have any direct consequences to you, correct?
Truthfully, it's not hard for me. It's not easy. It's not hard for me to.
Oh, it's hard for you to walk away?
It's hard for me to walk away.
Okay, well then stop.
I mean, I'll do it because in my eyes, at some point they're going to say, "This is none of your business."
Mm-hmm.
And so.
Do you love this person?
Oh, yeah.
Well, then it's your business.
Okay, so we.
Yeah, no, I know. Like, trust me, like, this is where I've been. This is what I'm talking about. When I said that I've been in this for 15 weeks and I'm like starting to piece it together, like it's horrible stuff like that because it's so much, it is easier when you see people making bad decisions to be like, well, that's between them and God. Or when someone's judging you and you say, well, that's between me and God. You don't have to do that. Well, sorry, not as a family. You're not judging them. Okay, so your blood family, you would talk to them and you'd never let that go.
Because we know each other. But I'm not about to approach someone here and just like be all up in their business.
Then I've got worse news for you guys. Be in everyone's business. You are a family. If you aren't a family, if you don't want to be a part of this family, then that's a bigger thing that we got to talk about. Like really, if you don't want to be a part of this as a family, if you are not one cohesive unit moving towards God, making strides to be Christians and achieve incredible things and bring others to God and serve the entire world, if that's not what you want to do, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know why you're here.
What about when it's, I can't help you until you decide to help yourself?
Well, then you just don't let them go. Just be annoying. Like,
I'm that way anyway.
yeah. So if Kevin, my younger brother, ever did something that I didn't agree with, I have never let it go. Never. I will always tell him that I think what he's doing is dumb. I have no problem with that. That's my blood family. You know what I mean? And I think that we see people here as acquaintances.
But aren't you talking spiritual? You're not talking worldly things that they might do. You're talking, you need to, or I don't know how to say it. I've tried to say it so many different ways.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work. But you're not talking about, don't go to that party tonight. I mean, or are you?
I don't know. Am I?
Well, I mean, if it's going to hurt their spirituality, then it's okay to speak to them, correct?
Sure. Yes.
If they're not if they don't consider themselves a part of us, then do you still speak to them?
So this is a big breakthrough that I've had over the last probably couple of years. Is there are people that don't want anything to do with church. Okay? They don't want anything to do with God. They don't want anything to do with his people. They don't care. Okay? That's very important to know that. There are people that do not care that we are here tonight. If they found out that we were here, they would be like, okay. They are not hateful. It's pure apathy. They do not care at all that this is happening. And to those people, telling them that they're doing something wrong only alienates you from them. So if you want a great way of never talking to someone again, talk to a non-believer about the things they're doing wrong. Like that is a surefire way to end a relationship. Now, if it's someone that you care about, then what your job is to be in their life. Infiltrate their life, be a part of it. You don't. There's an old saying that says, "Preach the gospel if necessary. Use words." That's a very butchered version of that. But be in their lives. Be in their lives. Be every part of their lives. Because one of the reasons I brought up the idea of the osmosis is because other people's unholiness does not affect your holiness. You can be around non-Christians and still be a Christian. If you are around non-Christians and you turn into a non-Christian when you're around them, then yeah, you've got a bigger issue there. Like that's a different thing. Jesus went to sinners. Jesus ate with everybody. There's nobody that he left out of the group. So go be with people. Be with everybody. Be in people's lives. Be there so much that when a good thing happens, you're one of their top 3 calls. Be there when one of the bad things happens, you're one of their top 3 calls. Be in people's lives. You can't be in people's lives enough. And then come back here to this family and regroup like we're instructed on the first day of the week. Any more questions? These are real good questions because these are the hard pieces to wrestle with. I know. Yeah. And so being a Christian is really, 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 really hard. Always. It doesn't get easier. I think younger people think it will get easier the older you get, and the older you get, the more you realize how hard it actually is. The more you learn, the more. Anybody do anything in Excel? The Excel program? The more you learn about Excel, the more you realize you don't know anything about Excel. That's my general rule. You could be like, I know quite a bit, about 1% of it. So the more you know about your Christian walk and your responsibilities to this family and to the entire world, the harder it gets.
Jeffrey, would it be correct to say that it's how we get in people's lives with sincerity and love as opposed to a nosy attitude?
Yes.
Is what makes all the difference.
That's it. It's 100% how you approach it. Yes. Yeah. Love. You can't love people too much. I'm sure that's in the Bible somewhere. You can't. Don't look it up. Just trust me, it's in there.
And wouldn't you say there needs to be discernment?
Discernment on what level?
Sometimes you can sense, you know a person's struggling or different situations, but I think through prayer, you either get that go ahead that now's the time to talk or not.
Sure. Yeah. Well, and so the other thing that I found, and that probably other people who have infiltrated people's lives without that specific agenda, is people will talk to you about it. The people that I work with know that I am wildly involved in church. I just was put in as a deacon. I do our worship every other week. I put together our men's retreat. I'm going to be preaching for 5 weeks in July if you guys aren't busy on Sunday mornings. We also do coffee and donuts. I'm not trying to steal you guys away, but it's coffee and donuts. Yeah. I've got a lot of irons in the Oakdale fire right now. And the people that I work with know that. I have never been like, so what's your relationship with Jesus? Do you know why? Because they don't care yet. They do not care at all. And if I approach them too soon, then I ruin it. And all I can do is be in their lives and care for them and live the best possible life I can live. And people will come to you 100% of the time. It might not be on your time, because it's never going to be on your time. But they will come to you. Anything else? I feel like we grew together tonight. I've got 11 minutes. I can just sit here. Or we can just be done. Are we all done? Okay. No, I'm voiced out. I sang the whole way here. Yeah. I sang songs that were way too high.
She'd like to see the first slide again on the fellowship versus discipleship.
Can you go? Why doesn't this work? Hey, can you go back on the slides? To the followership versus discipleship, it should be, hey, never mind. That's all my notes. They're all yours. There's the slides in there too. That's very easy. I've got more of those if you guys want those. If there are no more questions, we'll have a prayer and then we'll be dismissed. Father God, we come to you as a family in this plural group together. We come to worship you. We come to say that we, as a group, are going to follow you. And that we, as a group, are going to be involved with each other. And we, as a group, are going to carry each other's burdens. And we, as a group, are going to carry each other's joys. And we, as a group, are going to fall down at your feet as our leader. God, we love you so much. Please give the wisdom necessary for all of us to understand the giant implications of everything that we've talked about tonight. And then the courage to start on that path. It's in your Son's name we pray. Amen. You're dismissed. Thank you, guys.